Just think about the last thing you did online. Did you check a message? Maybe watch a video? Order some food? Whatever it was, you did it in a place that doesn't physically exist, yet it shapes almost everything we do. Today, we're going to talk about that place, cyberspace. We're going to trace its incredible journey all the way from a science fiction fantasy to the very fabric of our modern world.
Yep, you heard me. You're in it right this very second. This isn't some far-off futuristic landscape we're talking about. It's the invisible network connecting you and me at this moment. So, what is this place, really?
At its most basic level, cyberspace is simply the place where our digital lives happen. It's that invisible web that carries our emails, posts our photos, and, yeah, even powers our global economy. Think of it like a giant virtual layer built right on top of our physical world, connecting everything everywhere. So, to really get how we got here, we've got to rewind the clock way back. Let's jump back to the 60s and 70s, when the very first digital seeds of this whole thing were being planted.
Now, these weren't just some boring lab experiments. ARPANET was the granddaddy of today's internet, the very first proof that computers could actually talk to each other across long distances. And packet switching? That was the stroke of genius that made it all possible. It's like sending a book through the mail one page at a time and having it put back together perfectly on the other side. That one simple idea is literally the foundation for everything we do online today.
But you know, this early version of cyberspace wasn't for you and me. It was more like an exclusive members-only club for scientists and the military, a super specialized tool for just a handful of people. I mean, a whole world away from the global network we all use today. So you've got this tech bubbling away in labs, right? But the idea itself, it needed a name. Something catchy, something that could really capture people's imagination. And for that, well, we have to turn to the world of science fiction. And this is just a perfect example of how powerful a good story can be. William Gibson wasn't an engineer. He was a novelist with this incredible vision of the future. He made up the word cyberspace, and it just stuck. It gave us a name for a reality that was only just beginning to take shape.
So through pretty much the whole 80s, cyberspace was still, well, it was mostly a dream. It was this fascinating concept people would talk about, this idea of a huge interconnected world. But for the average person, it wasn't something you could just log into. It was pure science fiction.
And then came the 90s. And folks, this wasn't just another small step forward. This was the Big Bang. This was the moment that exclusive clubs' doors were kicked wide open for the entire world to come rushing in. It was like this perfect storm, you know? 3 key things just exploded onto the scene, all at once. First, the World Wide Web gave us a super easy way to find information. Second, browsers like Netscape Navigator gave us a simple window to look through. And third, access just started spreading like wildfire. That combination, it lit the fuse.
I mean, just look at that number. A more than 100 times increase in users in a single decade. It's almost impossible to really wrap your head around that kind of growth. Cyberspace went from being this tiny, niche community to a global phenomenon practically overnight.
Okay, and that slingshots us right into the modern era. Because the explosion of the 90s, that was just the beginning. The next wave of innovation was about to take cyberspace off our desks and put it right into our pockets.
Just think about it for a second. Social media completely rewired how we interact with each other. Cloud computing meant our data wasn't tied to any single computer anymore. And of course, smartphones made cyberspace this always-on, ever-present companion. It's no longer a place we go to online. It's a permanent layer of the world we actually live in.
I mean, the change in just the sheer scale of it all is mind-boggling. Back in the 90s, just sending an email or visiting a company's website felt revolutionary. Today, our social networks can influence elections, our digital banks basically run the economy, and cloud services store the collective knowledge of all humanity. The complexity has just grown exponentially. But of course, this incredible evolution, it hasn't come for free. With every amazing new connection and every new convenience, new complexities and new challenges have popped up. This new world, it turns out, is a bit of a double-edged sword.
The thing is, because our digital lives are so deeply woven into everything, the risks have gotten a lot bigger too. We're in this constant battle against cybersecurity threats. We're all wrestling with how much personal privacy we're willing to trade for convenience, and we're struggling against these huge waves of misinformation. These are the new, incredibly complex challenges of our time, and they're all being fought right here in cyberspace.
And so all of this leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? From a sci-fi dream to this complex global reality, cyberspace is still evolving at a breathtaking pace. What happens next? Well, that's really up to us. How we choose to build and regulate and live within this digital world, that's what's going to define the future for generations to come.